You better say that. The best talk show, you better say that. The guests on the show, you better say that. Give knowledge and hope, you better say that. Alzata, that's the host, you better say that. Spread love and faith, you better say that. God steer away the hate, you better say that. We all gonna be great, you better say that. Work out passion, not pay, you better say that. Oh yeah, you better say that, say that. Oh yeah, you better say that. Oh yeah, you better say that. You better say that. The best talk show, you better say that.
Hello and welcome to the You Better Say That Talk Show. I'm your host, Alzata Florence, and I am so excited that you took the time to join us today. Today, our topic is heart health. February is American Heart Month, a time where everyone, especially women, should take the time out, and we encourage you to focus on your cardiovascular health. Not only is it Heart Health Month, but it's Black History Month. We want to take the time to highlight and celebrate this woman of God, this great doctor, Dr. Brittany Hurd, all the way from Opelika, Alabama, who is a heart doctor right here in the city of Opelika. Dr. Brittany, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. We're excited that you were able to join us today. We got a lot to talk about.
Yes.
We got a lot that we want to share. We want to bring awareness, like you said, to the community to make sure that they're aware of heart health. And I'm so excited that we took the time to celebrate Heart Health Month because so many people deal with heart health, and a lot of people don't know how to. Help themselves or how to manage it or how to go about taking care of themselves in that area. So we're going to talk about that today. Okay.
That sounds great.
Sounds good. Okay. Well, let's dive in. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, I'm Brittany Hurd, as she mentioned. I am a cardiac electrophysiologist. So that's a big term, but it basically means like I specialize in electricity of the heart.
Oh,
So
wow.
patients who have abnormal heart rhythms, people who may need um, pacemakers or defibrillators, and we can talk about those things a little bit more later on. Or
Mhm.
sometimes people need ablations or so many different things, but it just means that I'm a electrician of the heart, and so that's what my main specialty is in.
Okay.
It is a subset of cardiology, so I did have to go through cardiology in order to get to cardiac electrophysiology. And for the rest of this time,
Uh-huh.
I'll refer to it as EP. 'Cause
Yes,
that's such
okay.
a
We'll
mouthful.
say that because I'm like, how in the world am I going to say this word with
Yep,
15 letters in it?
yep.
So
EP.
EP, I'm
Yes,
going to say
ma'am.
EP.
EP. Yep.
Sounds good.
So I'm an EP here in the city of Opelika. Okay. I was born and raised in Birmingham. Went to School of Fine Arts there, and
Okay.
then after that, I've kind of been all over, and finally got to make it my way back down to my roots almost a year and a half ago now.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Awesome. Well, we're so glad that you're here. I feel like it's much needed. I know that I had a friend that needed exactly what you are. And I think the last doctor that was here that did EP,
Hmm.
he left. And I
Right.
don't think we had one. So she was excited to know that you were here.
Yep.
So you're needed in our area. So
Yeah.
thank you again for being here. So tell us a little bit about your family, just a little bit,
Hmm.
about your family and
Yep.
and who they are.
Yep. So I'm currently, Heard. That is my maiden
Yes,
name,
yes.
and so that is from the Kemp Hill herds.
Okay.
So that is where my clan is based out of originally. Like I said, I grew up in Birmingham,
Mhm.
but my grandmother's family and generations past were in Kemp Hill,
Camp Hill.
and so
Okay.
some of them are still there.
Okay.
I'm currently married right now. I'm married to Grant Bund, who's also a plastic surgeon in the area.
Very good.
And so we actually met in med school. We went to Meharry Medical College in Nashville.
Mhm.
We
Wow.
met there and got married shortly after our time there in residency together. So
Awesome.
he practices here locally as well.
Very good. Very good. Well, that's excited because family is very important.
Right.
Yes. So so tell us a little bit about what inspired you to become a doctor. That's
Okay.
I can't wait to hear the story. I'm so excited.
All right. This is going to be a little bit of a long story. Cut me off if you need to. Okay.
Okay.
So I went to Alabama School of Fine Arts in Birmingham, and it's actually a fine art school, but it also has a math and science portion. And so, essentially, going to ASA, that's what it said. That's what we call it for short, ASA.
Okay.
Um, Meant that you focus on a certain major or concentration for about 3 hours a day.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you were a dance major, you would have
Mm-hmm.
done 3 hours of dance, an hour and a half in the morning, an hour and a half in the
Wow.
afternoon.
Okay.
Okay. And so for me, math and science, so an hour and a half of math and an hour and a half additional
Mm-hmm.
of science. And so it meant taking some AP classes and
Okay.
really focusing on things, having a lot of projects.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one summer where I got involved at University of Alabama at Birmingham, at
Wow.
UAB,
Okay.
with their School of Engineering, um, which allowed me to be exposed to biomedical engineering.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
So one of my first projects was working with heart valve testing. So
Wow.
sometimes people need artificial heart valves, and you have to test these things to determine how long they're durable for, how long they're going to last. And so you
Mm-hmm.
want
Mm-hmm.
to test them outside of the body. And so that was
Yes.
my first
Oh
exposure
wow.
to cardiology as a 16-year-old.
Were you 16?
Yep, at UAB. And so I got to learn about pig valves and mechanical heart valves at the time, and it just really sparked
Uh-huh.
something in me.
Uh-huh.
And that exposure, I actually did 2 summers of internships there.
Okay.
The other
Okay.
one was working with artificial hips. We were hoping to design a floor that would
Mm.
give when people would fall on it. So, in
Okay.
particular, for the elderly,
Mm-hmm.
in hopes that, hey, if they fall, they won't necessarily break their hip,
Very
that they have
good.
this special floor that can give
Okay.
appropriately.
Okay.
And so that was all in biomedical engineering,
Mm-hmm.
and I just thought the field was fascinating. It piqued
Yes.
my interest. I love the combination of working with the human body, as well as the math aspect of it with the
Okay.
engineering.
Okay.
And so that led me to major in biomedical engineering
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
undergrad. So I went to Washington University in St. Louis. Go Bears, which
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I
Okay. Yes.
loved. And I stayed there for 4 years and majored in biomedical engineering.
Mm-hmm.
While I was there, I actually had an internship, and keeps coming up, internships.
Internships. Right. Right. That's a lot.
Exposure is so important
Wow.
for you to know what's out there
Mm-hmm.
and know what you may be interested in.
Exactly.
I didn't know anybody in these fields.
Okay. Okay.
Um, and so I had an internship before my senior year that allowed me to work with a device company.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was going around and seeing people implant pacemakers and defibrillators.
Okay.
And that really sparked something in me. And I was like, oh, this is cool.
Oh,
And I got to
wow.
see some ablation procedures. And it's like, wow, you can actually cure people
Mm-hmm.
with this
Mm-hmm.
type of medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was very fascinated. And from that point, before I've been thinking, am I going to go into industry for biomedical engineering? Am I
Okay.
going to go into medicine? I was always pre med, which kind of comes along with being biomedical engineering.
Okay.
But that the exposure helped me to decide, okay, I'm going to go be a doctor,
Okay.
and I'm going to go be a cardiac electrophysiologist.
Okay. Wow.
I had some idea of how long it
It
would
was
take,
gonna take. How
but
many years was it?
so 4 years of undergrad, 4 years of med school, then
Oh my
um,
gosh.
we'll just start at the med school. So four
Okay.
years of med school,
Okay.
then 3 years of internal medicine, then 3 years of cardiology, then 2 years of
Oh my
electrophysiology.
God. That's a total of about 12 years, isn't
12
it?
years.
Oh my goodness.
12
Well,
years.
I think it's important that you get that education
Hmm.
because if you're going to be a specialist, if you're going to be a doctor with people's lives in your hand,
Yeah.
then I think you need to be well versed and well educated on what you're doing
Yeah.
because your profession and your goal is to help save someone's life. Well, eventually we are going to pass,
Right. Right.
that's but to help you or help people to live as long as they can and be healthy as they can.
Yep. And it's important, and all of that time was necessary. It
Hmm.
gives you, the appropriate exposure that you need.
Okay,
You're still maturing as a young adult at that time,
that's
too.
true.
And so it was necessary for me to be the physician that I am today.
Amen.
But I am
Very true.
grateful for that time. So it
Yes.
was a long journey, but
You're
that is
here. You're
that's the
yes.
course of it. Yeah.
Well, I am so excited that about your journey,
Yeah.
and it's an awesome journey. When you start talking about how you wanted to become a doctor, how you chose your field, I was thinking that maybe you was going to say like, "Oh, when I was a little girl, or my dad was a doctor, my grandmother
Nope.
was a doctor, my mom wanted me to be a doctor," but it was because you got in school and was exposed to heart health and
Yep.
the EP and all that.
Exactly.
Um, and
Exactly.
then so that just triggered your interest and
Yeah,
sparked
and I
something
was
in you.
the first physician in my family. So,
Oh
I
wow.
really didn't have any exposure, but all these opportunities led to another thing and another thing.
Mhm.
And I was really able to build off of those
Very
opportunities. So
good.
I'm
Very
really
good.
grateful for those.
Well, you know what? We're so excited that you're in the area. You
Yes,
know what
ma'am.
I'm saying? So, hey, kudos to you. And I am so excited for you.
Yeah.
You know, you're making history right here in Opelika. So,
Oh, thank
thank
you.
you. Thank you. So, let me ask you this. How important is heart health?
Oh, it's extremely important. I think, you know, as I was going through my training, there would be times when I would get emotional because
Mhm,
I just felt like there was such a deficit of information in our communities
mhm.
on the importance of heart health. Okay.
Yes.
Heart health isn't something that you start thinking about when you're 50, when you're 60 or 70. It's really something that we need to be thinking about and programming ourselves and educating ourselves on from a young age,
Wow.
from childhood,
Really?
honestly, because
Why at such a young age? Because you know, when we're 16 and 12 and 13,
mhm,
we don't think about heart
you
health.
don't,
So why at such a young
because
age?
so much of heart disease is preventable.
Okay.
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 When we talk about Heart Health Month, it's because so much of it is preventable. There are some conditions that are not,
Sure.
but a lot of it is about prevention.
Wow.
And so,
That's
if you
good.
have early education about what preventative measures you need to take,
Mm-hmm.
and you instill those at a young age,
Okay.
then that matters in the long run because our
Yes.
habits start when we're
Oh,
kids, right?
exactly. That's true.
Yeah.
Wow.
So a lot of it is about prevention, prevention, prevention.
Mm-hmm.
And the tenets of that are going to be inclusive of what we eat,
Mm-hmm.
our
Hmm.
diets,
Yes.
exercise, our daily habits. So prevention is very key.
Right. Okay. Well, you know, it is important because you know you have to have a heart to live. If this heart stops beating,
Hmm.
that's it.
Yep.
You know, and then when a person die, they put those things on them and they
Hmm.
pump in their heart. Is that correct?
Yep.
I'm not a
Sometimes,
doctor, but you know, just
sometimes, yes, some people have sudden cardiac arrest, like you said.
hmm
And
hmm
so this is always my plug for
listen to the plug.
everybody to get CPR certified. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
My parents had me in CPR class, and I was like 11 or 12.
Wow.
Everybody can be CPR certified,
Hmm.
and you never know when these things are going to happen, right?
That's
Sometimes they
that's
happen
true.
in the hospital, but sometimes it
They
may
don't.
happen at church, it may
Yes.
happen at Target.
Yes.
And if somebody is aware of what CPR is,
Mhm.
they can help save someone's life. And
Yes.
there's no age limit or age cap on when you're able to do that. So
Right.
I recommend that everyone become CPR
Hmm.
certified because this can be life saving measures
Hmm.
until someone else EMS arrives or until a person is able to get to the hospital in order to get additional advanced treatment.
Right.
CPR is a very good tool to know if somebody just kind of passes out and
Mhm.
there's nothing going on. Okay.
Exactly. Very good. Well, you know, next year, this just came in my spirit. Next year, you talk about awareness, you know,
Mm-hmm.
how important awareness is. Next year, maybe coming up to February, maybe we can kind of partner to just do something in the community to just help bring awareness, you know,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's just put on something like you know, a seminar or just get out into the community
Yep.
and just, you know, have come get these pamphlets, come get this information, you know,
Yes.
just set up somewhere and just invite people to come. You know, we don't want just people to come into the building. Sometimes we need to go out there. You
Yes.
know, maybe it may be a elderly lady who can't get out, maybe a young teenager who can't drive. You know, but we want to get awareness out when it comes to our heart health. You know, when you said that um, heart issues stem from childhood, what we eat, you know, maybe the lack of exercise, you know, some things may be genetic, you know, somebody may have had something to pass down from generation, but it's still important that we jump on it early enough because the medical field is booming now. You know, things are not like it was in 1960 and 20,
Right.
you know,
Right.
it's come a mighty
There are
long
a
way,
lot of
correct?
options, even if something is genetic or someone has a predisposition to
Uh-huh.
something. There are a lot of options to appropriately treat it. So,
Yes.
knowing that, hey, I need to be seeing my primary care physician on a regular basis so
Mhm.
that they can be monitoring me for certain things. It's very
Yes.
important to know, hey,
Mhm.
after I get 20, I need to be screened for diabetes. My
Yes.
cholesterol needs to be checked. There's several, my blood pressure needs to be checked on an
Mhm.
annual basis.
Mhm.
These are all very important guidelines. And like I mentioned before, this is
Mhm.
something that is very near and dear to my heart.
Yes, ma'am.
One of my greatest accomplishments, I think, was I had always had this dream of, hey, I want to go on a circuit around, my hometown,
Sure.
educating people. And right before the pandemic hit in February 2020, Heart
Yes.
Month,
Mhm.
I had an elective from my cardiology training. And so I spent that time before things shut down. I
Uh huh.
spent that time actually going around to schools, okay, elementary schools, middle schools, high schools,
Oh,
educating them
wonderful.
on what heart health is, what
Yes.
are prevention measures,
Mhm.
you know, asking their questions. Because a lot of times,
Yes.
young kids, they have so many questions. And
Yes.
if you can just explain things to them on their level,
Mhm.
it gives them a better understanding and they really appreciate it. So, answering their questions and also explaining to them what my job is like.
Yes.
I also got the chance to explain to them what other types of jobs are available in the
Mhm.
medical community. It's
Mhm.
not everybody needs to be a doctor, but
Right.
so many people don't know that there are more professions out there.
Yes.
So I did that with the school
Very
age
good.
students, and then I also was able to um, have seminars with churches
Uh huh.
and community centers, and even just an open forums throughout
Yes.
the entire month
Mhm.
where I talked about the importance of heart health. I
Oh wow.
explained certain conditions that you hear of, but you're not quite sure what is this, okay?
Yes.
And it was
Yes.
also just another arena for people to ask questions that they don't,
Mhm.
you know, another safe space outside of being in their doctor's office. Now, of
Sure.
course, everything is going to be individualized and you have to talk to your doctor to
Sure.
seek the best care.
That's
But
correct.
even just raising awareness and explaining things to people on a level that they can understand
Mhm.
was very just a treat for me to be able to
Yes.
give back.
Fulfilling. Don't you
It's
feel
very
like it was
fulfilling.
fulfilling?
Yep,
Yes.
to be able
Yes.
to give back to my community in that
Mhm.
way. And so I love the idea of being able to bring something like that to
Yes.
Opelika and
Yes.
going around and just having open forums and to
Mhm.
raise awareness
Yes.
about
Yes.
things.
We're gonna take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
You better say that. The best talk.
Hi, I'm Cassandra Schutz, the owner and operator of BLS Studio, a natural hair care salon where I provide services for natural hair, locks, sister locks, micro locks, and all of your natural hair care needs. I'm also the owner and operator of Vivid Elegance, event planning business where I cater to event planning needs such as baby showers, corporate events, weddings, destination weddings, and all of your event planning needs. My booking information can be found on my social media platforms at IG and Facebook. The names are Vivid Elegance Events and also BLS Studio. Check me out and you won't be disappointed.
You better say that. The best
We're
talk.
back from our commercial break. We're gonna continue with our guest. Well, I'm about raising awareness. I'll bring awareness. I've started a mental health awareness,
Yep.
and so because it's on a heightened, it's heightened the last since the pandemic actually.
Mhm.
So I think heart health would be very, very, very good topic to talk about, and just bring more awareness. And the more you know, knowledge is power,
Yep.
and the more you know, the better off you'll be. And so I kudos to that, and I pray that next year in February we
Yes.
can make it happen.
Yes, for
Yes,
sure.
let's do it, right?
Let's do
Let's
that. I
do
would
it.
I would love to be a part of that. And
Mhm.
so just to talk about what are these tenets and prevention techniques that we can instill right now, if that's okay.
Yes,
All
yes,
right.
yes. That was my next question.
Okay, good.
Okay.
So, like I mentioned, what we put into our bodies is very important, okay? A lot of times we don't realize that some of the things that we're eating
Hmm.
can be clogging our arteries up.
Like fat back and collard greens, like fat back and ham hocks and stuff
Yes.
like that. Talk about the
Yes.
doctor.
Yeah.
All that grease,
Yeah.
it's good, but it's not good for you. Is that
It's
correct?
good, but it can taste good, but
Yes.
those things are not good for you. We
Mhm.
say everything in moderation. So when
Yes.
you're thinking about pork and and red meats and beef and things like that. You really want to minimize that to
Okay.
having that no more than 1 to 2 times a
A
week.
week. Okay, that's good. See, that's bringing awareness. That's good information.
Yep.
Okay,
hmm
very good.
It's also about fast food. Fast food
Oh,
is convenient, but fast food is generally processed. Okay.
yes.
And so processed things are going to come with additives. It also means it's going to come with sugar.
Mhm.
Did you know that American Heart Association recommends that women have no more than 24 added grams of sugar a day,
A day.
and men have no more than 36 grams of added sugar a day.
Wow.
To conceptualize that a little bit better,
Okay.
one one um 1 teaspoon of sugar is 4 grams. Okay,
Okay.
so when you
Very
think
good.
about it like that, women should have no more than 6 teaspoons of added sugar,
A
and
day.
then men should have no more than 8 to 9
Oh wow.
teaspoons of added sugar.
That's good.
So when you
Ooh.
look at a Coke can and you see, oh my gosh, this has like 30 grams of sugar, you're going to be
Negative.
already be done
Exactly.
with your
One
sugar.
Coke.
One Coke, you're already done with your added sugar for the
Mhm.
day. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
Added sugar is bad because,
Yes, it is.
you know, when we were first put on this earth, we didn't
Mhm.
have the conveniences of having processed items. Okay.
Yes.
If you wanted something sweet, you had to go work and go pick a strawberry or
Yes,
pick
you
an
did. An
orange,
apple or something.
an
Exactly.
apple. But
Yes.
now, because of our technology,
Mhm.
we have compact sugar in
Yes.
almost everything. Okay.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so our bodies are not designed or equipped to deal with that.
Oh, that's good.
Excess sugar can lead to diabetes. Okay. If you have all this extra sugar floating around in your vessels,
Wow.
that can add to the little cholesterol plaques along your arteries,
That's correct.
which can also just um, increase, just more plaque
Mhm.
and lead to
Mhm.
more heart disease in terms of blockages, which is bad for
Yes.
you long term. Okay.
Yes.
Anytime you have diabetes, we always say that's a heart disease equivalent. Okay.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
that just kind of makes things worse or increases your risk more.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
In terms of meaty foods or fatty foods, things
Mhm.
like that, you really have to be mindful of the amount that you eat of that because,
Mhm.
again, those cholesterol plaques can just accumulate more and more over
Mhm.
time and lead to decreased blood flow in all of your vessels, and
Right.
everything that affects your heart and your blood vessels in your heart
Yes.
can affect your brain. So that can lead to, high blood pressure,
Yes.
strokes, things like
Yes.
that. So all of these things matter,
Mm.
especially in the Black community where
Yes.
we can be more predisposed to things like hypertension,
Yes.
unfortunately. But that's not a death sentence. It's just about knowing,
Mhm.
hey, my community or my parents
Mhm.
have high blood pressure more
Mhm.
often than other people.
Yes.
So let me make sure that I'm getting mine checked on a
That's
regular
right.
basis. Let
Exactly.
me make sure that we're keeping on top of things.
Mhm.
If if I do have high blood pressure, what can I change to make
Yes.
things better to decrease it? If
Mhm.
I'm overweight, is there anything, how much do I need to exercise? Which
That's correct.
generally we recommend 150 minutes moderate intensity exercise per week. Okay.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be a whole lot.
Mhm.
You can get on your Just Dance, you can go walk.
Yeah.
You
Do a
just
little
have to
Zumba.
do Zumba, be creative,
Mhm.
whatever it is. You just want you to work up enough where
Yes.
you can still have a conversation, but you're a little short of breath.
No
That's
doubt.
that's usually the goal, okay?
Yes. Yes.
And students and kids, we say they should be exercising 60 minutes a day.
Oh
So
wow.
playing outside
Yes, it's necessary.
is necessary, or however they're going to play, but they
Yes.
should be exercising 60
Mhm.
minutes a day.
Wow.
Okay. And this
Yes.
doesn't have to be like
A whole lot of stuff.
heavy intensity things,
Yes.
but we need to be all moving our bodies because
Mm.
moving our bodies kind of helps get some of that sludge
Out of us.
out of us,
Yes.
especially out of those vessels in our body. So
Oh wow.
that's
That's
very
good.
important.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we've talked about, knowing your history, which is another important thing. Okay.
Yes. That's really
Now
important.
I know people love to say it's in the chart, or the other doctor wrote that
Yes.
down, or it should be in there. But we all have a responsibility to know
Mhm.
our own medical history. Okay.
Yes. Very important.
Sometimes it can be life or death decisions that are made,
Mhm.
and if I don't have the information on the chart, that's not good, right?
Yes.
And
That's
so
right.
either you or someone you advocate that can be an advocate for
Mhm.
you should know your history. Okay,
Mhm.
it's not
Mhm.
good enough to say it should be in the heart, in the chart.
Okay.
We should be aware of what's going on with our bodies
Yes, I
and
agree.
be able to explain it to other people, which
Very
is
important.
something that I really like for my patients to know when they come and talk to
Hmm.
me. Like, I
Hmm.
want you to know and be able to explain your own condition.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Know what's going on in your body.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
So we've talked about, knowing your conditions, okay, being
Hmm.
responsible for your what's going on with your body. We
Hmm.
talked about diet a little bit.
Yes.
Let me talk about that a little bit more.
Yes,
Okay.
talk about it a little bit more.
So when we go grocery shopping, we like to
Mhm.
say, really need to be shopping at the perimeter of the store, okay?
Okay.
All the processed things are in the center of the
Oh,
store.
get
So
out.
you want fresh fruits, you
Yeah.
want veggies, okay?
Okay. Okay.
Frozen food section can be good too.
Okay.
Okay, that's the exception to
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
Um, lean meats if you're gonna eat meat.
Mhm.
Sometimes I even recommend, hey, let's consider scaling back on the meat altogether,
Okay.
which can
Mhm.
be a radical idea for some people and not a radical idea for other
Mhm.
people.
Mhm. Mhm.
Which like, okay, yeah, I don't eat meat, okay,
Yeah. But when you
but
talk about the meat, are you talking about scaling back from the red meat and the different meats? Maybe
you want to
like
focus on
chicken,
lean meats,
fish,
chicken, lean
tuna,
chicken,
salmon.
fish. Yes,
Uh-huh.
fish should be in your diet at least twice a week.
Okay. Okay. Very
Okay,
good.
we want the low mercury fishes, of
Mhm.
course. But
Mhm.
yes, fish is very good and it has healthy oils
Okay.
in them.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
when you're cooking, even sticking away from butter can be helpful.
Oh
Okay,
my
we've seen
goodness.
studies that show that, hey, if you're using olive oil instead of butter,
Yes.
which it can have a good flavor, I promise.
Gotta
that,
take away my
that has
butter.
helped with reduction in heart disease. Okay,
Yes.
when we look at the Mediterranean diet, which is a big
Mhm.
buzzword,
Yes, ma'am.
they use olive oil. Okay,
For
they don't even
everything.
know butter. I had a
Wow.
Turkish friend
Uh huh.
in fellowship training
Uh huh.
who was like, "Do people actually use butter to cook?"
Yes.
And
Yes,
I
we
was
do.
like, "Yes,
Yes.
yes, I'm from Alabama. They absolutely do." She's like, "Well, my family's from Turkey, which is in
Yeah.
the Mediterranean,
Right.
and
Right.
so my mom has only ever used olive oil."
Right.
And so that was so eye
Wow.
opening to even me. I was
Yes.
like, "What? Y'all
I
don't
never
even use
heard of
butter?"
that.
No. So
Wow.
replacing things,
Mm-hmm.
and this doesn't have to be a drastic step,
Yeah,
but this
little.
can little by little by
Mm-hmm.
little, which
Mm-hmm.
is also it
Effective.
expresses my point earlier that like
Hmm.
starting patterns in your kids at a young
Yes.
age is very helpful. Okay,
Yes.
because the habits
Yes.
that they start now are going to last them a lifetime.
Yeah, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good. That's real good. We're going back to the sugar. Let's
Yes.
run back to the sugar because
Yes.
I'm a
And
sugar
and a
addict.
good movie
Uh huh.
is called That Sugar Film.
Oh,
Okay,
get
I know
out.
you can
That sugar
rent
film.
it on Amazon.
Okay.
It's really good, and it kind of just highlights how much sugar is in the American diet and how
Wow.
dependent we are on it. It's kind of an addictive
It
substance,
is.
honestly.
Exactly.
And so, if you don't do anything else,
Uh huh.
just start counting how much added sugars you're intaking,
Mm-hmm.
and you will be surprised. And you will see,
That's good.
generally, it is well over that 24 or 36 grams
Oh, no doubt about
of
that.
recommended.
Yes. Well, I just want to, stop and pause right here and confess that hey, my name is Alzata and I'm a sugar addict.
Hey, that's the first step, right?
Yes, admitting, yes,
Yes,
admitting that,
it. Yes.
yeah. So I am a sugar addict. Well, I was up
Yeah.
until about a month and a half ago, about 2 months ago.
Mhm.
I start, cutting back on my sugar. I stopped eating sweets every day, and I became a creature of habit,
Yeah.
product of our environment because my grandmother, when we grew up, we had something sweet every
And that
single
was
day.
love. And when we
Yes,
grew up, that was the
yes,
way that she showed us. They
appreciation
showed
and
us
love.
love, and
Yes.
there is absolutely
Hmm.
nothing wrong with that.
Hmm.
But now that we know better,
We have to do better.
we do better.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I
And,
agree.
and so what I tell people now, and I don't want to step on the baker's toes, okay? But I tell people, hey, instead of buying the cake,
Uh-huh.
let's have a slice of cake. You don't
Yes.
need the whole cake in the house. Okay? You just get a slice of cake. You want a piece of cake?
Hmm.
Okay, you eat a piece of cake.
That's right. Have at it.
Uh-huh.
But
And that'll
that's
be
it.
done.
That's
That's
right.
done.
It killed that taste. It
Yes.
satisfied that sweet tooth.
Yeah.
And now you can move on from it. I just had a birthday and I had the
Happy
best.
belated birthday.
Thank you, honey. I had the biggest cake. It was a Biscoff cake.
Okay.
Oh, Dr. Hurd.
It was good. I know.
And I tell you what, I did good. I ate a slice every day
Okay.
from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and Monday that was it.
Okay.
So I gave it all away. So, but a friend of ours that he lives in Nashville, and his son and my son went to college together. They played college football together, and he was a health. He's in the health profession, but he came and did a seminar here at our church, and he talked about the sugar. He went shopping with me while he
Yep.
was here, and he says this was coconut oil.
Mhm.
He said if anything is over 5 grams of fat, you don't need it.
Mhm.
Try to stay under 5 grams of fat. And so then, and what I've been doing lately, and I'll share that with you later, but it has really opened my eyes to changing how I eat, what I eat. And so I'm in exercise. And so I'm doing a lot of things different now. So I appreciate that information and the good health tips that you shared with us today. Anything else you want to share on the tips?
Okay, so we talked about sugar, we talked about diet,
Exercise.
smoking,
Ooh, deal with
smoking.
it. You better say that. You better talk about the smoking.
Nicotine is very addictive. Okay,
Mhm.
now nicotine and the smoke from smoking, okay, both combined, they give you irritants that your heart can be particularly sensitive to. So I'm going to talk about my EP side of things right now.
Okay.
Okay, this can lead to irregular heart rhythms, right?
Mhm.
This also aggravates all the sludge and things from our diets that we've
Wow.
eaten, all the animal fat, and
Yes.
just kind of aggravates that more. Okay,
Uh-huh.
you can even have like spasms of your arteries. People don't even know
Wow.
that. That's
Really?
yep, that can be
That's good
something
information.
that happens with smoking. And so,
Mm-hmm.
smoking can be, detrimental to your health in several different
Yes.
aspects.
Yes.
Um, all over, it can lead to heart disease, it can lead to cancers, it can
Mm-hmm.
lead to lung disease, and so
Yes.
there's just so many different ways that
Mm-hmm.
um, it's not good for us. Okay,
Yes.
and I know that it can be very hard to stop. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so one of the
Mm-hmm.
biggest things I say is, well, we can help little people just
Right.
not ever start. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so let's
Exactly.
not smoke around our kids.
Yes.
Okay, the
Yes.
secondhand smoke can predispose your kids to smoking in the future.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so not smoking is the biggest one, and if it's something that's very difficult for you, there are different medications that can be prescribed to
Mm-hmm.
assist with weaning you off of the habit,
Okay.
as well as nicotine patches. And so that's something you should really talk to your PCP about in
Uh-huh.
terms of the smoking. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so not smoking is huge in
Yes.
terms of minimizing your heart uh, disease risk. Okay,
Right. Okay.
we talked about exercise as well. Kind of highlighted the diet.
Mm-hmm.
Think Mediterranean. Replace that butter with
Olive
olive
oil.
oil. Minimize the sugars. What else? Knowing what's going on with you and what you're predisposed to.
Mm-hmm.
Following up with the PCP on a regular basis. Okay.
Yes. Very good. Those are some very, very good health tips, and to help us to be healthier.
Yeah.
Help us to be and then aware and alert about what's going on in us, because it's sad when you go sit down to the doctor and you don't know anything about yourself,
Yep.
about your health, and so but you brought so much awareness today. And well, tell us just a little bit about what you like most about practicing medicine. What's um the thing that gets you up in the morning and sets you on fire to go to that office and take care of your patients?
Yeah. I think making them aware of what's going on with their bodies.
Hmm.
Um, and just giving them insight. I have a lot of patients who come to me and be like, "Oh, no one's ever explained that to me before," or I didn't know that. So I really like the patient education
Yes.
aspect of things.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like I mentioned before, I just feel like it's very important that people know what's going on with their own body. So I
Hmm.
think that's one of the most fulfilling things. And then
Yes.
with my job, there is a curative aspect where you can really change someone's life with some of the either the medications that you prescribe or the prescriptions or the procedures that you do for them.
Hmm.
It can really enhance their life. And when you get that hug from that patient who's like, you made me feel so much better, like,
Yes.
thank you, or you're an angel, and it's like, no, I'm
Oh,
just doing what
my job.
I'm just doing my job.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
impacting people in that way,
That's good.
through education and actually like improving their quality of life
Hmm.
with the care that I provide for them is very fulfilling.
Amen. I can see that. If I was a doctor, I would feel that same way.
Yeah.
But it makes us as patients feel so good to know that our doctor cares about us.
Hmm.
And my next question was, when you think about a doctor, we think about someone who's caring and have passion for helping people. What are your thoughts on that? I think that, if I have a doctor that I don't feel like it's caring enough about me, that don't have a good bedside manner, I'm prone to change doctors and find me someone that I feel like, okay, at least pretend like you care, even if you don't, or, make me feel that way because I'm here for your help.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that?
I think that's a complicated question. um, it is very fulfilling to be able to help someone in this field, but it comes with a heavy cost.
Yes,
It
I
comes
can
with a heavy
imagine.
cost. People don't see the behind the scenes of, their providers maybe stressing about them
Mm.
sometimes, or,
Mm.
carrying these things home
Yes,
to
on the
work.
shoulder.
But I do think people should feel comfortable with who is taking care of them. And if you
Yes.
don't, find somebody else.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
because those things are important. There are
Hmm.
some people who don't have great bedside manner,
Yes.
who can be great at their field, but
Yes,
and some
exactly.
patients don't care about that. They're just like, I want the
Know what's
best.
going on.
I want the best. Okay, so whatever. I don't care about your
Yes,
attitude or anything. And
yes,
so it just depends.
yeah.
People are looking for different things from
Hmm.
doctors. Okay,
Exactly.
I do try to be a compassionate um, physician, and
Hmm.
to really, like I said, educate them and
Make sure
let
that
them
they.
know that I'm doing my best, and to
Yes,
to make
yes.
them feel comfortable and
Hmm.
like they're
Hmm.
in good hands.
Hmm.
That's
Yes.
that's important to me. Um, but on the converse side, that's not important to
Everybody,
everybody.
yeah, because it's
It's not
different personalities,
different
different.
personalities.
Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
right. It's different person
Exactly.
and different makeup. Everybody is made different.
Yeah.
Different. Attitudes and different. All everybody's nobody's the same.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
that makes sense. And some people aren't like that. But
Yeah.
I guess because I'm a filler.
Yep. Yep.
I'm a filler, and I'm an extrovert, and and I care about people.
Yeah.
And I guess everybody's not going to be like me.
Yes, ma'am.
But it's all good. But doctors have a heavy load. They
Hmm.
have a lot of weight. They have, they have outside of God, they have people's lives in their hands. So
Yeah.
that's a lot.
Yeah.
To have to carry, like you said, they carry it home.
Yeah.
They think about it. They may even cry about it. They may
Yeah.
not can
For
sleep at
sure.
night about it. And
Exactly.
so they carry a lot on themselves as
One
well.
of my the president of Mahiri, when I was there, he used to always say, after pastors and doctors, it
Yes,
comes with a heavy weight.
it
You know,
does.
people
Yes.
are relying on you,
Hmm.
and they're most vulnerable with
Yes.
you, and you know about this,
Yes.
and
One
and
hundred percent.
and that is not a thing that anyone should take lightly.
One
You
hundred
know.
percent true. You better say that.
Mhm.
You are 100%. And I love what I do. I love people and I love God, and I love just being a caretaker of people's soul.
Yeah.
And I handle it, and I have to handle things um fragilely.
Yes.
To make sure that I don't hurt, that I don't bruise, that I don't destroy someone's life.
Yes.
Because of me. So
Yes.
I walk tenderly when I'm dealing with God's people, and it not just the people that's in my congregation, other people outside of my church. You just want to be more like God,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
every aspect, and as best you can. None of us are perfect.
That's true.
None of
That's
us are
true.
perfect,
That's
and
true.
we don't always do things, maybe that we should do, but we do the best that we can.
We do
Yeah,
the best that we can.
exactly, and
I
then we leave the rest up to God.
Yep, that's very true.
Hmm.
I think, I never there's always those people that you work with a whole lot, and you can't fix them. You can't save them.
Yes, yes.
And every time I'm around those people, or I
Hmm.
have been in the past, like,
Hmm.
you never forget them. I
Hmm.
remember their name. I
Hmm.
remember their last minutes with me, and I really feel it's a gift
Hmm.
that, you know, a gift that I don't deserve,
Right.
to be there with them in their last moment. So it is
Hmm.
it's very important to, like, look at the big picture, and to really appreciate,
Hmm.
that we are able to be with people in their vulnerable moments.
Yes, that's very important. That's very good. Well, I know that you are have a lot on your plate, and the weight of the medical field and being a physician and a doctor, and a caretaker for a lot of people in the community. And I know that's challenging. So, what do you do to unwind? What do you enjoy when you leave all of that behind and run out of that office, and and
Yeah.
get home and enjoy? What do you like to do to unwind and reset for the day?
Yeah. Sometimes I just like to be quiet.
Uh huh.
Sometimes I like to cook if I have time. I like to cook something.
Hmm.
Um, Sometimes it's just about just being still, and
Yes.
there's a little video game I like to play
Oh
sometimes where
yeah, you like
you're
video
just
games?
unpacking, you're just unpacking boxes. So it depends. Sometimes I
Hmm.
crochet and
Oh yes.
just do a few different craft projects, and
Yes.
I love being around the water.
Oh
So whenever
wow.
I can be
Get
around a
away.
body of water, it's just
Mhm.
I feel so at peace and
Oh,
restored.
yes, and just the still waters.
Yep,
Yeah. So when you
exactly.
crochet, who taught you how to crochet?
I did.
Oh, you taught yourself?
Yep.
Oh, awesome.
Yes, my grandmother used to crochet when I was younger. She
Uh-huh.
always tried to teach me, and I just didn't pick it up. And then she passed away, and
Oh,
then I picked it up after that, and
yeah.
I went on
Ever
YouTube, and
since.
ever since. And so, um, yep, there's a
That's
way she kind of lives through me. So,
Oh, that's wonderful. My grandmother taught me, it would taught us how to sew and to crochet too. I
mhm.
haven't did it in a long time, but I still have a couple items that I made when I was a little girl that I
Yeah,
kept. Yeah, so
yeah,
it's fun. But I've seen some people can make some marvelous things.
yep,
I've seen like they crocheted that. I wish I
yeah,
can do it, but I just don't have
yeah,
time to sit down and
yeah,
do it.
yeah,
But
yes,
that's a good thing to kind of unwind and and just kind of find your place of peace and restoration during that time. So
yeah,
that's it. Well, I tell you what, Dr. Hurt, this has been fantastic. You
yeah.
have been a great guest today. Is there anything you wanted to say to the people concerning heart health, and just one more thing to them before we leave, and any any
Just a, yep,
encouragements or whatever,
yes,
just to kind of give them
yes.
a little bit more
It's never
information.
too late. Okay, it's never too late to stop smoking. We see benefits of people stop smoking, and as soon as like 15 minutes after they stop. Okay,
Okay, right.
so it's never too late for that. Okay, remember, shop on the perimeters of the grocery store unless it's in the frozen fruit section.
Hmm.
Let's watch our salt intake, which I also forgot about that earlier.
Very good.
Salt intake is a big thing. That we like some salt on our
Yes, got
food.
to
We
have
want
a
it to be
season.
seasoned, but there are other seasonings outside of salt.
Yes, it is.
Okay, try some pepper on it first before you just jump straight
Yes.
to the salt. Okay,
Amen. That's good.
then I want to make sure that we're watching our sugar intake.
Hmm.
We're moving our bodies as much as we can. Okay, and then you're going to get in and see your primary care physician once a year.
Hmm.
You're going to work to teach the little ones in our community these things too.
Very good. Very good. That is great. So thank you so much for being here today.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. Hopefully you'll come back one day.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, awesome. Well, listen, that's the end of our show. We have had a fantastic time with this awesome and amazing woman of God, this Dr. Brittany Z. Hurd. So thank you again for being here. But listen, check us out on our Facebook page, the You Better Say That Talk Show Facebook page, and my Instagram page, and my YouTube page under Alzata Florence. Until next